Today we will see various protocols of IoT, out of which we are going to see machine to machine and WSN protocols. M2M stands for machine to machine and WSN stands for wireless sensor network. Most machine to machine applications are developed today in highly customized fashion. So whatever machine to machine applications have been implemented or created or developed nowadays, they are customized in fashion. Customized means what? They are created as per the need of user or it is created as per the need of, let's say, industry. They are going to be customized as per choice, as per need. High level machine to machine architecture from machine to machine standardization task force does include fixed and other non-cellular wireless network. So whatever high level machine to machine architectures have been created from this MSTF, that is machine to machine standardization task force, they have created some high level machine to machine architecture. Those include what? Some fixed and other non-cellular wireless network. So it will going to work on various fixed as well as what? Non-cellular wireless network. Non-cellular means what? Such wireless network which will not work on your cellular device or cellular network. So other wireless network can be, let's say, your Wi-Fi. So on Wi-Fi, this particular architecture of high level machine to machine will work. Means it's generic holistic IoT architecture, even though it is machine to machine architecture. So it is what your generalized or it is your generic architecture that will work on different types of your wireless network. Machine to machine and Internet of Things sometimes are used interchangeably in the United States. So in US, what will happen? Either machine to machine can be used or Internet of Things can be used. Both cannot be used at same time, or either this or that can be used in development of different applications, which will based on either some devices, machines, or which will based on internet. So this will usually happen in US or United States. Other machine to machine standard activities include: number one, data transport protocol standard like M2MXML, JavaScript object notation, that is JSON, BitXML, WMMP, MDMP. These are some standard protocols which will work on data transport or your, let's say, transport layer of machine to machine standard activity. Extend OMA DM to support machine to machine devices protocol management object. Again, these are some other activities that can support your what? Machine to machine standardizations. Machine to machine device management, standardized machine to machine gateways. These are some activities. Machine to machine security and fraud detection. So when we are talking about internet or let's say any application, some devices, some machines will be included or some machines will be there. It will going to generate some data. So there is a need of providing different types of security either to these devices or the data generated by these devices. So the security is very important, a very main part of your machine to machine architecture. So security can be given to physical devices as well as your virtual devices, as well as data generated by this particular application. And again, it will going to focus on fraud detection. So the fraud detection can be, it will going to focus on various types of fraud. It will going to let's say focus on duplicate data or fraud data, or let's say we can assume that data replacement, invalid data. This kind of fraud detection can be focused on machine to machine security and data security. There are some service capabilities related with your what? machine to machine network APIs. So these application programming interface which will be required for your networking purpose in your machine to machine applications. This particular architecture will focus on such services which will be provided to the machine to machine architecture. Again, remote management of device behind gateway or firewall. When we are talking about machine to machine or IoT application, there are some devices which can be controlled or which can be monitored at remote location. So remote location devices can be, let's say we are at one location and your IoT application or machine to machine application is installed at another location, which will be far away from you. So in that case, what you can do is you can monitor those particular devices from your current location. That will be your remote monitoring or remote management of such devices. So such devices can be again placed at different gateways or firewall when it will be in terms of your software. And if it is your hardware, it will be placed or located at different location. Then some other standard activity of your machine to machine will be, it will support open REST based API for machine to machine application. That REST based API will be your IoT communication API, which will be very useful for your machine to machine application development. Let's see China Mobile's WMMP standard. So this is what the architecture of China Mobile's WMMP standard. It will have some machine to machine devices. It will have some machine to machine application, and those devices and applications are interrelated with each other. So these machine to machine devices will be the part of your machine to machine application, and machine to machine application will be either created from lease line connection, wireless connection, or wired connection, and there will be some platform which will going to support your machine to machine application. So there are different things: devices, platform, and application. The combination of this particular thing will going to create your application, and this application will work on different types of network, like your wireless network, wired network, or lease line network. So it will have various versions. So first version was version 1.0. It will enable the connection of devices to CMCC machine to machine platform. So whatever machine to machine platform have been implemented over here, it will going to establish the connection between these particular devices. This version 1. It allows user to manage and monitor machine to machine terminals in real time. And this particular version 1 was based on Ericsson WMMP 0.98 platform. It was related with your version 2. Later on, next version have been developed, that was 2.0. If there is new version, then there will be some addition to the previous version. So with this points of version 1.0, there are some additional features given with 2.0. It is further refinement of platform or device protocol. It defines business and management flows. It will going to focus on various business management and their flow activities. It will be the revised part of your version 1.0, which will enhance machine to machine device management function. It will going to focus on what? Various device management functionalities which were not supported in version 1.0. Those activities or those functionalities will be supported in version 2.0. It is based on Chongqing Radium machine to machine 2.0 platform. It is one of the platform which will be supported by this China Mobile's standard in version 2.0. After that, again, there is one more version, that is 3.0, which will again going to add some more functionalities with version 2.0. And those are, it will include preamble definition, transfer process, device management, SIM card management, AT instruction format, etc. So this version 3.0 will going to support these many activities, like it will going to have some definitions, transfer process, device management, SIM card management, instruction format, and so on. These are included in version 3.0, which were not present in version 2.0. Version 3.0 will realize device to device communication routed over machine to machine platform. So it will going to have the communication between various devices, or device to device, or node to node, endpoint to endpoint devices, which will going to support by this 3.0. It include some security measures related with various devices, applications, and different, let's say, devices used in IoT or machine to machine application. It will going to focus on these many security measures. It will again going to add some application API to platform, device real-time software upgrade functionalities, and so on. So this particular version 3 will going to focus on real-time software. So whatever real-time software have been used nowadays in various, let's say, real-time systems, those softwares have been supported by this particular version 3.0. It was treated as the revision of 2.0. It will be the trial stage, which will going to provide various platforms for your ZTE, Radium devices like your SIMCOM and UAE. So these are the functionalities, or these are the part of your what version 3.0. And last one is what will happen in future version, or what will be the additions in your future version. So it will going to support wireless sensor network technology. Again, it will going to support distributed machine to machine network access. These are the functionalities, or these are some part of future versions. It will again going to support non-standard and non-dedicated network and their protocol. It will going to realize automated terminal capacity distribution, and it will going to realize direct device to device communication. So these are some additions that will happen in upcoming version of your this WMMP standard of machine to machine protocol. One of the benefit of using sensor data is that data typically can be reused many times, thereby reducing cost and maximizing benefit. Yes. So whatever sensor data have been generated, when any sensor data will be generated, that particular data will be stored in database. And the benefit of using those sensor data is that we can reuse that data as many times as possible as we need. So which will lead to what? Reduction in cost, and it will going to maximize the benefit. So sensor data can be stored either in the local database, or it can be stored in your cloud. Once it is stored, you can use the stored database. You can use stored data as many times as possible, or as many times as you want. So that particular sensor data will be what? Reusable, which will going to reduce the cost, and it will going to increase the benefit. Let us see some example of your what sensor data. So if we consider the sensor data generated for your weather observation, so which kind of different sensor data, or which kind of data can be generated for your weather observation? Like temperature data, wind speed, direction, humidity, and so on. These kind of data can be generated for your what weather application. If you consider the application based on your weather, so your weather application will generate, or it will going to show some temperature, it will going to show you some humidity, it will going to show some wind speed and direction, or that particular wind speed or wind direction will be again the part of your what weather observation, or it will be the part of your application which will be related with your weather based some activity. So this particular data, once it is generated, the temperature, humidity, wind direction, and wind speed, once it is generated, it will be stored in your database. Either it will be local database or it can be cloud-based database. So once it is stored in the database, it can be reused for various applications. So for which application this particular data can be used? It can be used in climate modeling, weather forecasting, plume modeling, insurance risk analysis, ski area location decisions, and so on. Again, if you consider these many applications which will be directly related with some weather observations. So once this particular data is generated, this generated data can be reused as many time for these of your different IoT applications. There are hundreds of sensor manufacturers who have built various sensors for specific purpose that we already discussed in one of the session, which are various sensors. Every sensor have some predefined activity. Every sensor have their own functionality. Those functions will be carried out by those specific sensors only. They are often using their own language or encoding techniques, different metadata, and various activities. So every sensor will going to sense something and it will going to generate some data. And every sensor will have their own language or their own encoding and decoding techniques. The standard data representation, which will be together with WSN middleware, that particular standard data representation is the key to materialize the data integration and increase interoperability. So whenever one sensor can go into generate some data, that particular data will be integrated and it can be operated with different applications also. That can be your interoperability. There are number of standardization bodies in the field of wireless sensor network, out of which the IEEE focuses on the physical and MAC layers. This is one body, that is IEEE. It will focuses on physical as well as your what? MAC layers. Whereas another body is IETF, which will work on layer 3 and above. In IEEE, they have defined one standard, that is IEEE 1451. It is the set of smart transducer interface standard developed by IEEE Instrumentation and Measurement Society's Sensor Technology Technical Committee. Let's consider there is one standard whose name is IEEE 1451. What exactly IEEE 1451? It is the set of small transducer interface standard. Who have developed this? It is developed by Sensor Technology Technical Committee. And whose committee is this? This is IEEE Instrumentation and Measurement Society's committee. So there is one society whose name is Instrumentation and Measurement Society. Which society is this? IEEE society. His one committee, that is Sensor Technology Technical Committee, have developed this IEEE 1451 standard. What it will going to have? It will going to describe the set of open, common, network independent communication interfaces. So IEEE 1451 will going to have some set of open, common, network independent communication interfaces. Why? For connecting transducer. It can be either sensors or it can be actuators to microprocessors, instrumentation system, and control field network. So whatever transducers can be used for your IoT application, that is your sensors and actuators, those transducers can be connected to various microprocessors, instrumentation system, and control field system. Those transducers will have some open and common network independent communication interfaces for your data exchange between various IoT devices. And this particular standard have been defined by IEEE 1451. One of the key element of these standards is the definition of transducer electronic data sheet, that is TEDS for each transducer. Every transducer will have TEDS, that is transducer electronic data sheet. Whatever data have been generated, that particular data will be stored in this particular sheet, and whenever it will going to connect to the internet, this particular data will be transferred to your server or it will be transferred to cloud. This TEDS is a memory device attached to transducer. So what is TEDS? It is one type of your memory device which is attached to your transducer. What it will going to store? It will going to store some identification number, calibration, correction data, and manufacturer related information. When that particular sensor or actuator have been created, what is the correction data, what is its calibration, what is the identification number of that particular transducer, everything related with that particular hardware device will be stored in transducer electronic data sheet. The goal of this IEEE 1451 family of standard is to allow the access of transducer data through a common set of interfaces. There will be some common set of interfaces. Those interfaces will allow the access of transducer data for IEEE 1451 standard. So let us see which are various family of standards for IEEE 1451. First one is 1451.02007. It will have some common functions, communication protocols, and TEDS formats. Then second one is 1451.1 1999. It will have some network capable application processor information model. 1451.2 1997. Transducer to microprocessor communication protocols and TEDS format. 1451.3 2003. Digital communication and TEDS format for distributed multi-drop system. 1451.4 2004. Mixed mode communication protocols and TEDS formats. 1451.5 2007. Wireless communication protocols and TEDS formats. And last one is 1451.7 2010. Transducers to radio frequency identification system communication protocols and TEDS formats. These are various IEEE 1451 family of standards that have been developed till now for working on various WSN and machine to machine protocols. Cross networking is not possible means what? The cross networking between Bluetooth and Zigbee is not possible in case of your WSN or your machine to machine systems. Either you can use Bluetooth or you can use Zigbee or you can use Wi-Fi and so on. It's not possible to combine two network for single application. It make most WSN system incapable of direct communication with each other. Due to this, what will happen? Devices in your WSN systems cannot communicate with each other very easily. There should not be the direct communication due to cross networking in your WSN. Content on WSN discuss are more device or network focus. Whatever WSN have been implemented, whatever application have been implemented with the help of your WSN network, they are focused more on devices or network. So there is one OGC, Open Geospatial Consortium, and W3C has been doing research and standardization work following a data focused approach. So there are two organizations, OGC and W3C, which will going to work on standardization of your WSN system. There is again semantic sensor web, which will have an approach of annotating sensor data based on OGC SWE, that is your sensor web enablement. It will going to follow the data encoding specification, which will produce by OGC SWE working group. First one is SWE common, sensor ML, observation and measurement, and last one is transducer markup language. So these are some specification which have been proposed by this OGC SWE, that is your OGC sensor web enablement. First one is SWE common, sensor ML and observation and measurement, and last one is your transducer markup language.